Hello there. Desperate times often call for desperate measures, even extreme measures, even doing things that we might morally consider to be unethical, wrong, or even criminal. However, again, desperate times, and if it's survival, we are talking about the survival of your species is at stake, not just your culture, your civilization, but your entire race. What would you do? We see desperate actions in races like the Vidians when they had to phase, trying to find a way just to survive. The Teresians were similar. The Teresians had powerful vessels and advanced technology to back up their very sophisticated and very cultured civilization, but unfortunately the military had to be used less in a defensive way and more in an offensive way. They tried to passively survive by using a retrovirus to convert males from other species to come to them. You see, the Teresians' mating process, giggity, was a problem. It resulted in the death of the male upon joining, as they called it, which was their word for marriage, but it really just meant mating and the death of the male. This was very unfortunate for the male, but it was also unfortunate broadly for the Teresian people. The male population was decreasing, resulting in them needing to sort of borrow men from other cultures. They continued to do this and got into a bit of hot water with their neighbours, particularly the Nesari. The Teresians, though, built very powerful and very stout vessels capable of policing their borders and defending their territory, including ships entering their space carrying these future Teresian mates, such as Ensign Harry Kim from the USS Voyager. The Teresian patrol ship was strikingly similar in design to the mercenary ship used by Arctis Baran. I'm sure that is just a coincidence. It fired 4 white-coloured pulse energy projectiles, and these were incredibly powerful and devastating. Their exact nature was unknown, but who knows. The Teresians themselves were humanoid, kind of trill-like in appearance, with spots and sort of designs down the sides of their head, but not as detailed or as long, and probably not going all the way down, as we know they do with the trill. Their species were not inherently violent and were considered cultured, artistic, and very much a poetic and musically inclined and sophisticated people, but unfortunately driven to desperate actions that got them into difficulties with their neighbours. Their technology was more sophisticated than many of the races in the local area, and although they didn't seem to have a particularly large navy, it was more than capable of handling the less advanced, slower, and less powerful vessels used by their enemies, particularly again the Nesari. One of their ships being capable of overpowering several of their ships. It's unknown exactly how much of a threat they would really be to the USS Voyager, but it's reasonable to assume, considering the disparity of technology between the Federation and many races in this region of space by 2373, that likely one ship could be handled, but maybe not without suffering some damage you don't want to take. So, where do you stand on this? Do you think the Teresians were doing what they had to do, or do you perhaps think they should have found another way? Maybe cloning, or maybe just trying to figure out what was the problem. Why were the men always dying? Was this a cultural ritualistic thing, or was it actually a biological imperative that, like the praying mantis or the Black Widow, they have to kill the male after mating? And yes, I know the mantis and the Black Widow don't have to kill the male, but you know, they do a lot of the time. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. What's a better alternative? Or were they really just doing what they had to do? I'd just like to say a thank you to everyone for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoy making these. If you did enjoy it, please consider giving a like, share, and a subscribe, and maybe checking out the other videos on the screen right now, and in the description box below there are links to my other social media accounts.